My name's Natalie Cooper. I'm a Vice President and Head of Business Solutions at New York Life. We focus on offering insurance in the workplace through New York Life's agents. And while we focus on employers of all sizes, we really have a sharp focus on the small business market. That's where we think our agents can really go in, build relationships with business owners and their employees, and really make a difference.
So the focus of this conversation is all about innovation,
Yes.
specifically as it relates to insurance products for small business customers. How do you think about your innovation roadmap, the next, 1 to 2 years? What are some of your key priorities?
Sure. So today's financial journeys start at work. So we want to meet people where they are, and small business owners are no different. Often people are making decisions right in the workplace, and for many, the workplace is the first and sometimes the only place they have access to things like life insurance and disability insurance. But the challenge for small business owners is that there's a void. Often this market is underserved, and so we're really focused on bringing large employer capabilities down to the small group space. We're doing that in 2 ways. One is through our products, and the other is through our experiences. On the product side, it's about taking those products that used to be reserved for large Fortune 500 companies and making it accessible for small businesses. Things like guaranteed issue products, things like financial wellness, and other programs that really help people be competitive as a recruiter and an employer. On the experience side, it's all about seamless experiences. For a small business owner, seamless is not a nice to have, it's a must have. It's not a luxury, it's a must have. And so we really want to focus on filling gaps. As you can imagine, a small business doesn't have the big HR platforms or benefits enrollment platforms that large companies do. So we look for ways to fill those gaps. We actually provide some of those solutions to them. And so a big focus for us is filling those gaps and bringing those large employer capabilities down to the small business market.
And do people buy insurance directly from you as a small business owners, or do they go through agents or brokers?
So they're going through our agents. So we have various models, but the model we're focused on today is really through our New York Life agents and advisors. So you can imagine an agent is really designed to serve lots of different types of clients. Small business owners are one of our most important clients. So they're working with that business owner to figure out what types of solutions do you want to offer to your employees. Things like employees' whole life, employee benefits, group term, group disability, all things that typically, if you're a small business owner, you might not have access to.
And so staying on the innovation agenda again, it's hard to have a conversation about innovation these days without talking about Gen AI. Does that feature at all on your roadmaps? Like, how do you see that being applied for the benefit perhaps internally, how you do business, but also how does that show itself externally? Maybe it's through your agents getting benefits, or maybe even the end borrower or insurance customer getting access to it.
Yeah, so we're very bullish on Gen AI. I think it's the future of work, and insurance is no different. And so we're really thinking about how do we use Gen AI as an extension of the workforce, not only to help things move more quickly and easily for our agents, but for the clients they serve as well.
Another thing that came up in preparation for this meeting was the fact that a lot of small businesses are feeling the strain financially when it comes to premiums specifically. They've gone up, everyone's costs have gone up, obviously, including insurance companies. How do you think about helping them to manage their cash flow, giving them the tools or access to plans and services that they would benefit from, but perhaps need help on the affordability side?
Sure. So New York Life recently did a study of small business owners. We really wanted to understand what's driving their needs in the market, and how do we create solutions and experiences that fill those gaps for them. And we heard 3 major hurdles that they see when it comes to offering insurance to their employees. First was a perceived cost challenge, right? In their minds, insurance is very expensive. What they often don't know is that insurance can be made fully no cost to the employer or low cost to the employer. It's all about just opening up that avenue for the employees to purchase it. The second is the administrative burden. A small business owner, quite frankly, does not have the bandwidth to take on a new platform, a new capability. And so we're there to help solution with them and give them those platforms that they would need. And the third is just familiarity with the solution set, really the knowledge and understanding of what solutions are out there. So that's where our agents come in, right? They're able to work with the small business owners and help them find solutions that address the cost, address the administrative burden, and address the familiarity with products.
Another thing that I kept reading about was the friction that some small businesses feel when it comes to maybe doing research and figuring out what's the right coverage level for me, or other sort of parts of the journey as one would go on to buy one of your products, as an example. How do you, what kind of pain points have you identified in addition, or maybe doubling down on some of the things you already mentioned, when it comes to making their journey easier or better or more accommodating, even if it's something you're working on, which will be rolled out later?
Sure. So for small business owners, being streamlined and being easy is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. They need things to be easy. And so we really look for ways to smooth the process for them, and that often comes in the form of our agents doing a lot of the work for them, right? So we've armed our agents with a ton of tools to help do real-time quoting. So you reduce that back and forth in getting a quote. We've armed our agents with more visibility into where groups are in an enrollment or with an application, all things that we really know create a seamless experience for the small business owners.
Kind of tangential, but you mentioned agents, so I'll pick up on that. I spoke to another insurance company. They only do online and only self-service, which obviously is supposed to be easier for the customer and perhaps even lower the cost. How do you think about the value of the agents versus the cost of having another person in the middle, perhaps? Is that something you reflected on? Or?
Sure, yeah. Well, agents are core to New York Life. We are kind of built on our agents and the relationships that they build with their clients. And as we talked about, insurance, especially insurance for their employees, is often not top of mind for small business owners. And that's where the expertise and the knowledge of an agent comes in to guide them through those decisions, to guide them through their options. And so for a small business owner, having that trusted advisor there to help guide them is really key. It saves them time in the long run and helps ensure that they have the best solutions in place. And then it opens up the door for additional conversations, additional needs to be met. So it's pretty core, and we find our agents have great relationships with their business owners.
Okay, so obviously you've talked about innovations that you're doing, in building in-house and in initiating things yourself. Do you also partner with third parties, whether that's fintechs or maybe insurtechs, to do some things that you yourself don't want to build, perhaps? How do you evaluate the universe of potential collaborators, and how do you decide if you should do that yourself or whether you should partner with them, or I don't know if you invest in startups? What does that kind of evaluation and selection process look like?
Yeah, sure. So there's a ton of innovation happening in the industry, and we always love to learn about what's happening, especially in the workplace and group space. So we often welcome meetings with insurtechs just to learn what's out there. We have many partners integrated into our platforms, and that's the key. Kind of any new relationship we would go into, the key thing is how does this fit into not only our current ecosystem, but our evolving ecosystem? We are all, as an industry, evolving very quickly, improving our experiences, and so something that's able to plug in not only into the journey of today, but the journeys of tomorrow are really key.
So do you have any examples of partnerships that you have struck up or integrations you've made or embedded into your platform that you can talk about?
Sure.
That's sort of public?
Sure. So we have a great online billing partner. That's a recent enhancement we've made to the experience. That's something that really business owners come to expect. We all come to expect, right? And so our online billing platform, again, just takes the friction out of the process for our business owners. We have a great partner that we work with on that.
Okay. Is there anything else, based on the conversation we've had so far today, that you think is important to get across when we think about innovation and your work to support small business customers buying relevant insurance products?
Yeah, I think the key thing is that idea of taking big employer capabilities down to the small group space. I think that's a place that's underserved. We see a ton of value in being able to bring things that people in small businesses typically wouldn't have access to through our agents.
Natalie, thank you very much for your insight. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks.